Howdy everyone, my name is Tex, and welcome to my channel, GameSet Tex. In this video, I will be using a website to pick my favorite Pokemon of each type from each generation of Pokemon. As always, these kinds of selections are based on personal opinion, so I ask that you please respect my decisions whether or not you agree. Most of these decisions are based on design, but a few will be chosen based on my personal experiences with playing Pokemon. So starting off here, we got Generation 1. And start off with the normal type. And for this one, I'm going to select Eevee for this one. It's a really close choice between Eevee and Ditto. Ditto, I think it has some quirks to it. It's pretty cool in that sense. It's a really interesting concept of it just being able to transform into anything, any Pokemon. But you can't go wrong with Eevee. It's cute, and it has a really neat mechanic of being able to evolve into many different types of Pokemon. The most evolution lines. And then into many different types as well. So the Eevee family is really special in that way. Anyway, let's move on. Make this quick here. Honestly, you can't go wrong with the Kanto starters. I think this is probably one of my top, if not my favorite, group of starters. The designs are just so simple. They're so classic, and you can't go wrong with them. Charizard, Blastoise, and Venusaur. Next for electric type. Out of all these Gen 1 electric types, there's a small handful of them. Zapdos looks the coolest. Really gives off the electric vibe, in my opinion. More so than the other ones. Although Jolteon is a pretty good candidate there, and Pikachu is not too bad either. Ice type. Have to say similar things about Articuno. Though it's not the best Pokemon to use in battle. It just evokes Ice type really well compared to some of the other Ice types in Generation 1. Fighting, honestly, not really fond of the fighting types in Generation 1, but if I had to choose my favorite one, I'd probably have to go with Primate. Poison, there's a lot of poison types in this generation, and there's some good ones. I've already chosen Venusaur, and there's some other good ones that hopefully I can include in some other areas. Other types, because they have dual types, but Nidoking looks really cool. Just one of your classic poison types, one that you can get on pretty early thanks to the Moonstone in Mount Moon. Ground type, wouldn't pick Nidoking, but I'm gonna go with Sandshrew. It's really cute. I really think it's a nice simple design, and it works. Flying type, we got a lot of variety of flying types. We got birds, we got bats, we got some bugs, we have whatever Gyarados is flying. But I think Aerodactyl is probably one of, not my favorite, fossil Pokemon. For Psychic type, really motley crew of Psychic types in this generation. A generation where they are severely broken, and that can't be said enough more for Mewtwo. It's a really cool design, really cool background to it. How it's based on Mew. It was genetically created by humans, and it's just a powerhouse. Bug type. I gotta go with my boy Scyther here. Scyther is just really classic. I would say a lot for a lot of these Gen 1 mons, very classic. But I think it's just a really good, well-designed bug type. Rock types, I'm really not too big a fan of some of the rock types in here outside of Aerodactyl, but I've already picked that for flying. So I am gonna go with Rhydon. Ghost, not many options here. There's only one line, but Gengar is super cool. Whenever I think of a ghost type, I think of Gengar. It's just sly grin. Its purple color scheme is really cool with its red eyes. Really works well. It has a really big smile. That grin, like I said, really evokes some evil spirit energy. Dragon, again, only one line in Generation 1. I'm just going to go with Dragonite. Its line is a bit weird to me, but I prefer the final evolution over the other ones. Dark types, there are none in Gen 1, so we're going to skip that. As for Steel, both Magnemite and Magneton got Steel afterwards, but they're still Gen 1 Pokemon originally. I'm going to go with Magnemite because I prefer Magnemite. Fairy types in Gen 1, lots of pink going on, but I'm going to go with Clefairy. It has fairy in the name, so it was obviously meant to be a fairy type from the start. And as for my starter, like I said, I really like all the starters here. I'm not really counting Eevee and Pikachu because those were just one-off game. I guess Pikachu, was on Pokemon Yellow too. But I can't really go wrong with any of the three main starter lines. But I'm gonna go with Charizard. Overrated as that might be, Charizard is is just an awesome looking dragon, even though it's not a dragon type. And it's just really cool. It was really cool. So as for gimmick form, I'm not going to worry about the Gigantamax forms. I don't really like a lot of them. I wasn't really a big fan of Gigantamax, but I'm going to focus on the Mega forms. I'm going to pick my favorite Mega from out of the Kanto Mons. And again, I'm going to have to go with Charizard in this one. Mega Charizard X. The blue flames coming out of its mouth, the blue flame on its tail, as well as the blue and black color scheme just fit so well together, and it just makes Charizard look even better than the normal form. As for Legend, I do have a few Legends already on here, but there's only a small handful of Legends in Gen 1, but I'm going to go with Mewtwo over the birds. The birds are the birds, but although some of them are really cool, Mewtwo is definitely the coolest Legend out of the group here. And as for the favorite Pokemon in the entire generation, I have to go with my boy Gengar. It's again quintessential Ghost type, really well designed as the first Ghost type, and a lot of pretty much serve as the base for the Ghost types going forward. Moving on to Generation 2 here. There's a lot of normal types in Gen 2, but I'm going to go with Furret, and although I will give some credit to Smeargle and even Girafarig being some options there, some honorable mentions. Furret, the Q factor just comes from how silly it kind of looks. I like it for some reasons from playing certain ROM hacks, but it's just really funny, and I like how it is. As for Fire type, small handful, but I gotta go with Ho-Oh. It's a Phoenix, and it's designed really well. The color scheme works. Water type, another good handful like there was in Generation 1, but I'm gonna go with Suicune. It's just so majestic and really fits Water type well. As from seeing it in the movies, really helps drive that narrative home. As for Grass type, not the best group of Grass types, gonna say, but I'm gonna have to go with Celebi, the mythical. It's the Onion Fairy, gotta love it. Electric, I'm gonna go similar with Suicune and go with Raikou. I like these a little bit more than Entei, so but Ho-Oh is definitely a lot better. I feel more strongly about Ho-Oh than Entei, so that's not why I have it grouped in here with the other two. But Raikou just looks the best out of all these, although I will give a mention to the Mareep line. Not too bad. As for Ice type, I'm just going to go with Piloswine. Looks funny. Just a big furry ball with some tusks. Other Ice types. Sneasel is pretty cool. Give honorable mention to that. I think Piloswine just ekes it out for a little bit over for me. Not a lot of fighting types, but I prefer Heracross the most. Poison type, gotta go with Crobat. I think it was a well-needed evolution for the Zubat line, and the purple works really well. And it's just a really cool-looking bat. And I think it's the coolest looking bat out of any of the bat type Pokemon. Ground type, I gotta go with Wooper. It's cute and a little bit derpy. Not as derpy looking as Quagsire, which will get an honorable mention. Same as Vampy and Donphan. You can't deny how cute it looks. Look at his little face. Going on to flying types, another big group here. Bit of an amalgamation of different flying types. But I'm going to go with Skarmory. It's the coolest one I saw. One of the first few steel types I think I came across in my initial playthrough of Omega Ruby. I know it's a Gen 2 mon, but it is in Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire, which were my first Pokemon games. And I really liked it first moment I saw it. And it's just a really cool steel bird. And there's nothing else really like it, other than, I guess, Corviknight. But Corviknight is unique in its own way, and so is Skarmory. As for Psychic type, we got a lot of unknown to choose from, but I'm not choosing any of those because that Pokemon's kind of weird. But it's just a kind of a quirk. It's just a quirky Pokemon. But I go with Espeon. Really pretty Pokemon, really majestic. Yeah, really simple, and a great addition to the Psychic type family. For Bug, I gotta go with Yanma. Again, very cute looking Dragonfly. Rock type, we're gonna go with Tyranitar. Obviously, it's freaking Godzilla. Rock Dark typing is really unique. I don't recall off the top of my head if there's another one that has that same typing. Ghost, only option is Mischievous in this generation. Dragon, only option is Kingdra, so we're just going to put those. Dark type, this is the introduction of Dark type in this generation. And I'm going to go with Umbreon, kind of similar reasons to Espeon, really good evolution. I think one of these two, these are definitely my top 2 favorite evolutions, I have to say. And Umbreon is just really cool. The golden rings there to give it some flair. Steel type, I already went over Skarmory, so I won't be adding that. And you can't go wrong with Scizor. Scizor is so cool looking and really gave the Scyther line even more credit and value to really shine. So it's a great step up from Scyther, even though Scyther is already really good. Very kind of a interesting group here, but I'm gonna have to go with Marill. I think I like that a little bit over Azumarill, but Azumarill's not too bad either. As for a favorite starter in Gen 2, I'm gonna have to go with the Feraligatr line. And Feraligatr just looks the coolest. Ekes out a little bit over Typhlosion and Cyndaquil line. But I do see the merit in those as well. But you can't go wrong with this awesome looking Gator type creature. Favorite Mega, I'm going to have to go, there's only 6 of them here to choose from. Some really good ones here. I'm going to go with Mega Scizor since like I already chosen Scizor was my favorite Steel type. It just really improved upon the design of Scizor. Even though it really didn't need it, it's still really good if it Scizor well. As for my favorite Legend, you could probably already kind of guess based on what my previous picks were. We're going to go with Ho-Oh. It's a freaking Phoenix. I mean, what else can I say? You can't go wrong with it. And it's going to be my favorite for the entire generation, too. Generation 3. Now, this one, there's some really good options here. I consider Zangoose and also Castform and Kecleon. But I'm going to have to go with Spinda. Now, Spinda's you might think is weird, but it's sentimental to me because it is the first shiny that I ever got. I got it when playing my Omega Ruby, and it was a full odds encounter. I just came across it in the wild and just saw that it was a different color. I'm like, oh, what is that? I don't think I really realized it at first. But I saw it sparkle and then I went ahead and caught it, and I still have it in my Pokemon home to this day. So really special mon for me, and it's really besides that, it's still a really unique mon because it has different patterns. Favorite fire type, I gotta go with my this is also very sentimental. Torchic was the first starter I picked. I think I liked it out of the 2. Mudkip is definitely second behind, and I'm gonna put that as my favorite water type of Hoenn, even though there's some really good water types in Hoenn. Torchic and Mudkip are just too cute, but Torchic kind of edges it out for me. But I do see, who doesn't like Mudkip? You gotta like Mudkips. Grass type, coolest one is gonna be fully evolved Trico Sceptile. It's just a really cool lizard gecko type of thing with some leaves and a really cool tail. So yeah, it's really cool design. As for electric type, not a lot of options as I have come to realize, but I'm gonna make it like a tie between Plusle and Minun. These two came in. The gimmick is that double battles are now a thing in Gen 3, and now there's 2. You can work with these 2 in a double battle with plus and minus. And there's 2 Pika clones in this one, so it's kind of the theme there. But I do prefer the pair of those over the dogs over here. Favorite ice type, small group of them, but I'm gonna go with Walrein. It looks really cool Walrus Pokemon that we got. Next up, the fighting type. This one's an interesting group here. Could go Blaziken, which I think I will go ahead and do. Prefer that, but I do not mind the fighting types in this generation. There's some really cool ones. But Blaziken is just a flaming fire chicken. It's so cool, and I guess I'll go ahead and say it's my favorite starter of the 3. Poison type. Not too many options, but I'm gonna go with Seviper. It's really cool. I like how it goes and pairs with Zangoose, the mongoose. Seviper is edge up on a snake Pokemon, especially compared to Ekans and Arbok. I really like the fangs. The bladed thing on the tail is really cool. Really cool yellow, black, and purple color scheme. Ground type, gotta go with Flygon. For a flying type, a lot of cool flying types and dragons in this generation, so I'm going to start that off and go with Salamence for the favorite flying type. Really cool dragon Pokemon. Its Mega is a bit interesting, but still, this was a good dragon. But I do have a more, there's a dragon that I like more than Salamence. As for Psychic, we're going to go with Latios, which was my first legendary I ever got. As I said, I played Omega Ruby. It was my first game. We were pretty much gifted a Latios halfway through that game. So, and getting that legendary during the playthrough, my first playthrough through a Pokemon game, very sentimental to me as well. But it still looks cool. Outside of that, it's blue, which I really like, and it looks like a jet airplane, which are things I really like as well. Bug type, some really interesting bug types here. I have some sentimental value towards these, especially like a Beautifly line, or a Wurmple line, I should say. And then I think the Nincada line is also really cool. But I'm gonna go with Masquerain. I think it's the most interesting bug out of these, just because of its antennas that look like eyes, so it has Intimidate, which is really funny. Rock type, it's really interesting rock types in this one, but I'm gonna go with Aggron. It just looks really cool. It's like a Shogun type design with this metal plating. Ghost type, pretty interesting ghost type group here, but I'm gonna go with Duskull. I like Duskull over Dusclops as well, and all the other ones. Duskull is just a really cool first stage ghost type. I like how its eye is just like one little red dot, and you can, if you move around its model, it kind of looks like it has two eyes, but it actually doesn't. It just has like the one red glowing orb in the middle. The skull mask or face it has is really interesting, and it just kind of looks like reminds me of like a little yokai spirit type of creature. And here's the dragon. Gotta go with Rayquaza. Wow, how could you not? It's Rayquaza. There's nothing more I could say. Dark type, we're gonna go with Absol. One of the cool, even Dark type is a pretty cool type. One of the coolest Dark types for sure, probably in my top 3. Steel type, we're gonna go with Metagross. When I think of Steel type, I think of Metagross pretty much. It's there, and it's really scary, really cool design, like 4 legs, and it's like a tank, something like that, and also has Psychic type powers. So it's a really interesting design, really interesting Pokemon in general. And for Fairy type, it's really close. Gardevoir is really cool, but I'm going to give this one to Mawil's background and design. And as for gimmick form, favorite Mega, I'm going to go with Absol. Again, Absol, one of my favorite Dark types, and its Mega just took it up to a next level, similar to Scizor. And for favorite Legend, I got to go with Rayquaza. Obviously, one of the best dragon types of all time, in my opinion. And you know, it's so freaking cool. As for my favorite mon of the generation, I also have to go with Rayquaza for similar reasons, as stated before. All right, Generation 4. Now this one's gonna be a bit weird, but hear me out. I do like my memes, and kind of in a similar vein to Furret, Bidoof is going to be my favorite normal type. Bidoof, again, similar reasons to Furret. It's so dumb, it's cute, you know, type of thing. As for Fire, Water, and Grass, I'm actually going to do the starters once again. This is probably my first or second. It's up there, top 2, almost tied with Kanto. Favorite starter trio, especially with the final forms. I think all of them are really solid, and it's really hard for me to choose when I played through Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl. It's really hard for me to choose between these 3 because I just love all their lines so much. But the final forms are just amazing. Electric type, a lot of people obviously probably pick Luxray, maybe even Pachirisu. But I'm going to go with Rotom. I think Rotom's such a really neat design, how it can transform into all of these different forms based on appliances it takes over. For that reason alone, and the fact that it's electric ghost type, I think was the first and only, I think, for the series. Favorite ice type, Gonna go with Frostlass, similar reasons to Duskull. Again, looks like a yokai, really awesome looking spirit. Definitely gives off the ice type vibe. I think a lot better and a really good addition to the Glalie Snowrunt line. Favorite fighting type? I already picked on Infernape, and I'm gonna leave Lucario for favorite steel type, which I'll go ahead and do right now. Lucario, can't go wrong with Lucario. Really awesome steel type. I think it beats out the other ones. But I'm gonna go with Gallade. Gallade is my favorite of the Gardevoir line, and it's just really cool, like a knight, and the blades in its arms, and it just looks so freaking cool. I really like what they did with the Roserade, adding that evolution onto Roselia, and I think they did a good job. I think Roserade deserves a lot of praise. It's just really unique. Keeps playing up the roses on the red and the blue. Really mysterious and graceful too. As for ground type, I'm gonna go with Gliscor. Gliscor is really cool, really big improvement over Gligar in its evolution, and it's a really like a flying scorpion. It's just a really awesome design, and it's really good in battle too. For favorite flying type, Staraptor is a pretty solid bird in Pokemon. Really good in battle, and it looks really threatening and really deserves its intimidate ability. For Psychic, I actually am very fond. I already have Gallade in here, so I'm actually next one I am really fond of is Bronzong. I think its design, its background, what it's based on is really interesting. The fact that it's Steel Psychic, which is a really cool typing, similar to Metagross. And yeah, I think it goes well with its evolution of Bronzor. Onto the Bug type. This is another similar thing to kind of Bidoof and Furret. Although I'd really like, although Young Mega's pretty cool, I think Kricketune is such a really interesting design. It's a neat design for a cricket. How it makes kind of music and sounds, and how it looks like a mandolin, I believe it. So it looks like the most. It looks like some sort of string instrument. But regardless, it makes sense for a cricket, and its name is really cool. Can't go wrong with its design. I wish it was a little bit better in battle. But yeah, it's Kricketune, and it's pretty solid for bug type. As for rock type, not too many options here. Some are a bit weird, but I'm just gonna go with Rampardos. Pretty cool looking, another dinosaur looking mon. Interesting design to have, like it headbutts a lot of things, so it has like a really hard head. As for Ghost, I'm gonna go with the evolution of Duskull, which is Dusknoir. I think is a really good evolution to add on to it. I know it looks a bit weird with the face on its tummy, but it looks really creepy. Still plays into the kind of the yokai spirit type of thing, and it just looks really cool with the same red orb in the middle. It's very creepy. Really good ghost type in my opinion. Dragon, I gotta go with Garchomp over the legendaries. Garchomp is just really classic dragon, very famous dragon, very popular dragon, and for good reason. It looks cool, it fights really well, and really good typing outside of its 4x ice weakness. But you know, freaking Land Shark, you can't get better than that. Dark type, we have to go with like the mascot of the dark type, which is Darkrai. Has dark in the name, and just all about nightmares, which is a really neat concept for a dark type Pokemon. Yeah, you do not want to mess with Darkrai. I already talked a little about Lucario, but yeah, really classic steel type there, well liked. Interesting how it gains the steel type, but it still works, and its Mega Evolution is pretty neat as well. Fairy type, not many options in Gen 4. I'm just gonna go with Togekiss because I don't really like the Mime Junior, Mr. Mime line. Favorite starter, I know I said it was hard to pick between the starters, which they're really close together. If I had to choose one though, I have to go with Empoleon over the others. I think having that penguin Pokemon was well needed, and I think they did a pretty neat job with the design of this. It still has like a tuxedo type of thing. It looks really regal, similar to Emperor Penguins. As for Megas, there's only 5 to choose from, but I said a lot about how much I like Gallade, and I think just similar to Mega Absol, Mega Scizor, Mega Gallade, really improved the design of Gallade even more and made it even cooler and made me like Gallade even more. So, and then as for Legend, also, and this is where Arceus is going to come in. Can't go wrong with freaking the Pokemon God. So it's really cool. It can change types with its plates. It's really strong. And as for my favorite Mon in the generation, I have to go with Mega Gallade specifically. Mega Gallade even better. Although regular Gallade is still really cool too. Mega Gallade just looks the coolest with its pretty much like split cape, even bigger blades on its arms. Moving on to Generation 5, moving along here. Thank you for sticking with me if you're still on. So favorite normal type, we're going to go with a bird actually, and we're going to go with Braviary. Bald Eagles, or I don't know if it's based on Bald Eagle, but it's still an Eagle type Pokemon that's based on, and Eagles are really cool. Braviary, you know, looks really cool with its color scheme and everything, and really evokes that Unova, or I guess it's based on American spirit, so can't go wrong with that. Fire type, got some really cool fire types, also some really weird fire types in Gen 5, but I am gonna go with Volcarona. Really cool bug type, probably my top 3 bug types. It's just so cool. Its name is really cool, and how it's just kind of like based on the sun, kind of like emanates the sun energy in its Pokemon or Pokedex entries, used by ancient people, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. But still, regardless, if I'm misremembering it, it still looks really cool. Water type, we're gonna go with, there's some pretty good ones here. I'm gonna have another one up here in a second, but Samurott is my favorite water type, and it's also my favorite starter of the 3 lines. The Gen 5 lines are a bit weird to me overall, but I think the Oshawott, Duat, Samurott line is the best one of the 3. Yeah, I think it's really cool. Needed someone like, it looks like a samurai, and also like it looks really like it's wise with like the beard and the mustache type of thing. It also has like the shells on its side that it uses for like a sword or a katana, and everything. So I think it's a really neat concept that they did with that. As for favorite grass type, I know I said Samurott by far, but Superior is not too far behind, but Samurott's still a little bit better. I like Superior by itself. Its line is a bit odd to me. But Superior, really cool name. I think it fits the design well, and it just looks like a spectacular Mon. As for electric type, some really interesting ones from like Stunfisk and Electros type of thing. But I'm just gonna go with Zebstrika. It's a zebra Pokemon. I think it's the first one. I think it fits, like it does justice for zebras, I think, and it works well. Interesting they made electric type, but I guess it kind of goes with its like speed. But yeah, not much else to say on that one. Ice type, I'm gonna go with Cubchoo, which is really cute. I always like when I see a Cubchoo in the wild. Fighting type, I'm gonna go with, there's a lot of interesting ones, and there's some weird ones too. Looking at you, Emboar and Pignite, but I'm gonna go with Keldeo. The whole concept of the Swords of Justice is really interesting, but I think Keldeo takes the cake for me out of the group of them. Really cool horse. I think it's got the horn with the unicorn. So very can't say it's not majestic, and really cool typing, really good in battle, all that good stuff. Poison, small group, but I think it's easy pickings. This is just trash, and because it is trash, and Amungus's vibe is not really clicking with me, so I'm gonna go with Scolipede, really cool bug type, kind of like a weird caterpillar, like sitting up or something, standing up only on its more hind legs, but yeah, still really cool. Or not caterpillar, but like a centipede, I guess. As for ground type, I do like a good chunk of these, but I'm gonna go with Golurk. I think it's underappreciated, and I think it's a really cool like golem Pokemon. Fits the ghost type. It also fits the ground type because it's made of like terracotta. So it looks like the terracotta warriors. And yeah, again, it's looking blue, and it kind of looks like Tears of the Kingdom now that I look at it. Reminds me of Tears of the Kingdom, so this is what I've been playing right now. So for flying type, we got a lot of cool birds here. There's a flying squirrel Pokemon. And I'm gonna go with Mandibuzz. Actually, Mandibuzz, although it looks, it's not the most inviting one, but it is dark type, so that explains it. And having a vulture Pokemon, I think, was a good addition. Definitely one that was needed. I think it did a good job. Volabee's a bit weird, but I think it makes sense. Kind of based on how it evolves into Mandibuzz and where it gets all these like bone type of things. Favorite psychic type, I'm gonna go with Victini on this one. I just like its concept is about victory, blazing the fire of victory, or torch, or I don't know, I don't remember exactly how to put it, but Victini just looks really cool, really strong, and really, really cool legendary. Bug type, we're gonna go with, I already talked about Scolipede and Volcarno, so I already got those out of the way. But another bug I do like is Galvantula. I think it's a really cool name, really cool design. I think they tied that. I'm gonna guess they kind of maybe did the name first and maybe did a design after that based on its name. But I think they did a really good job. Rock type, I'm gonna go with Gigalith. It's just like a rock. It's just a freaking rock monster. Like, there's not much else to say, and it does a good job with it. I will give a special shout out to its shiny form, which is just looks like it has diamonds. For ghost type, I really am a fan of the Chandelure line, and I really like Chandelure a lot. Maybe weird because it looks like a chandelier, but I think it really evokes the ghost type really well, and really kind of goes well with the whole design of its line with Litwick and Lampent. For dragon, now there's some really cool dragons in this generation, or step up from Gen 4 in my opinion. You got the two, I think you might consider, I don't know if Haxorus is considered a pseudo-legendary, but there's three-stage lines of dragons here, and then you got Drotagon. But then you also have, like Kyurem, Reshiram, and Zekrom, and then they're Kyurem Black, Kyurem White. But with this one, I am going to go with, I really like the line of Haxorus, and Haxorus just looks super cool to me a little bit more. Although Hydreigon is pretty cool, Drotagon less so. Haxorus, I think, for me, takes the cake on this one. Really cool design. I really like the kind of like looks like a halberd on its head, and it looks like it's going to tear you to shreds, which is really scary, but really cool at the same time. As for my favorite dark type, I'm going to go with Crocodile. Used this Pokemon, I believe, before. Really strong and a really good crocodile, I guess. Pokemon. Interesting line it goes with it. But I really like the red and black color scheme for it. You could also maybe think of it like it's a crook, so I guess you could think of it like a bandit's mask as well. And for steel, I'm gonna go with yet another dark type, and this is a really cool mon that I'll probably talk about a little bit later. But Bisharp, I think, is really cool, design-wise, background-wise, naming-wise, color-wise. It's really cool. And Poniard, I think, fit really well, and I really like the chest theming on those. Barrier's only one line, the Cottony Whimsicott line, but I'm just going to go with Whimsicott as the only option there, and like a little bit more than the Cottony. As for a favorite gimmick form, there's only one Mega, which is Audino, and then one Pile of Trash, so we're going to go with Audino, but that's just there just to fill that in. As for my favorite legendary, again, a lot to choose from, and some really interesting choices, but I'm going to go with Victini. Again, I just like it, how it's just Victory Spirit. It's very positive. Fire Psychic is a really cool typing, but I'll give honorable mention to Keldeo, as well as the Yin and Yang Dragons, Kyurem and Reshiram and Zekrom. And as for my favorite Pokemon of the generation, I kind of have to go with Volcarona here. Volcarona, really cool bug type. Definitely my top 3 bug types. And you can't go wrong with like the epitome or Spirit of the Sun over here. So, moving on now to Generation 6. Now, for these ones, I'm not going to worry about any of the Megas. I know the Megas are going to start popping up in here because this is when Mega Evolutions were introduced. So I'm not going to worry about those because I'm already worried about those in the gimmick form column. So I won't be considering those. So we're going to go and start off with Pyroar. I think Pyroar, I think I like the line of Litleo Pyroar. It has a different form for male and female, which makes sense for lions. I just wish it was a lot better in battle, but still, I can't knock it for its design. I think it works really well. For fire type, I'm gonna go with Talonflame. I think one of the best regional birds for sure. Definitely my top 2, I think. Adding the fire flying was really cool, and it works. It's good in battle. But I really like the color scheme as well. Water, I have to go with my favorite starter, and that will be Greninja. I really like the Greninja and the entire line from Foki all the way up. I wish Greninja had like a bubble scarf instead of its tongue, but I guess, and it's based on a frog, so I guess that makes, I understand why it's a tongue, which is, I don't really mind too much. Again, another overrated starter pick. I'm probably gonna get in the comments, but Greninja is super cool, and he can't not get shiny either. Really, really cool. Favorite grass type? I am gonna go with Trevenant, and I'm also gonna go ahead and put Phantom as my favorite ghost type. I really like this line. I think Phantom and Trevenant, for similar reasons as to kind of similar design to the Duskull line, the Dusk Noir line, has like that red orb eye, but also like a moving tree, kind of gives off Luigi's Mansion, and then now Tears of the Kingdom vibes. Could be deserving of a Mega or some other kind of form, I think, in the future. And then Phantom is a really good first stage for it. Really like that simple ghost design. It's kind of like a tree, it's just a tree stump that got possessed, so. Electric, not too many options outside of the Megas, and not gonna really count the Pikachu dress-up ones, so I'm gonna go with Heliolisk. I think, honestly, it's still a really good lizard Pokemon in its own right. I really like the design. It's based on the lizard that has kind of like has the neck flap, and it uses that to like for scaring off predators or something like that, and to make it so it's like a sun, it like absorbs sunlight. And the yellow and black and the orange, I think, with the orange in between there, the accents really help a lot. Ice types are some. We got Aurorus line and the Bergmite and Avalugg line. But I'm gonna go with Aurorus on this one. Aurora, having like an Aurora type Pokemon, I really like how they incorporated like the Aurora Borealis and Australis into a Pokemon. And as for fighting type, I really was keen on Hawlucha when I first saw it, based on those Lucha Libres. Fighters, how it almost looks like it flies in the sky, and they're basing off of that. Obviously, this Hawlucha doesn't really fly; it more glides. That's all it needs to do, and it kind of has a little like a Lucha mask, which kind of fits into its feathers, which they made it look really, really cool. There's only one poison type line that they added in Gen 6 outside of the Megas. I'm gonna go with I'm still gonna put Dragalge here. Dragalge is still really cool. Dragon poison type. I like its name a lot, Dragalge. I think it makes a lot of sense as design with mixing dragon and algae. Favorite ground type. So most of these are Megas, and then there's Diggersby, but how can you not put Zygarde as the favorite ground type here? This is like a big land snake. I really like its design, its background, what it's based on. The green and black color scheme is really cool. Makes me kind of think of like Superman or something with like Kryptonite or Lex Luthor. I don't know. Favorite flying type? I'm gonna go with Yveltal. I really like the legendaries. I'll go ahead and put Xerneas as my favorite fairy type as well. Oops. I really like the legendary trio in this generation. Probably my favorite, I might say, or one of my favorites. It's pretty close up there with Sun and Moon's legendaries. But Yveltal is super cool. Dark flying, like epitome of death, although that'd be more dark type akin, but I do prefer another dark type. But I think Yveltal is the best of the flying types that I haven't chosen yet. And the red on black just makes it look really evil and really cool legendary overall. Favorite psychic type? I am gonna go with Hoopa, and on my favorite dark type, I'm gonna go with Hoopa Unbound. Now, it was really interesting how these two changed types. I think maybe more Hoopa Unbound is like because it's more evil, and it's more, I guess, Unbound, Unchained, just kind of does whatever. I really like the design of Hoopa Unbound, based on like their use of like their rings, the portals that they make. I think it's a really neat Pokemon. Favorite bug type? I'm gonna go with. I think they did a good job with this Pokemon. Not sure about how collecting it wise, because it's just another chore, but Vivillon and its many colors are this is probably my favorite butterfly Pokemon out of the many that have already appeared. Based solely based on how it has all these other patterns, which fits butterflies, because this kind of should take the cake when you have pretty much many patterns all over one. But the favorite rock type, I'm also going to go with the other fossil Pokemon in this generation. That will be Tyrantrum. We were still looking for a T-Rex Pokemon, and I think they did a really good job with this one being a Rock Dragon. I think that might be the only one that has that type. If it's not, regardless, it still is really cool, and I think they did a really good job with it, and it looks really scary. And speaking of dragon, we're going to go with Noivern on this one. I could have put it as my favorite flying type, but I really like legendaries in this one, so I'm going to go ahead and put Noivern as my favorite dragon. I really like the design of the Noibat Noivern line, kind of like a extension of bats, to sort of say, because Noibat is technically a bat, but having like a wyvern, a bat that turns into a big wyvern, Noivern, is just super cool, and it has really interesting colors into it. And then getting to near the end of favorite steel type, we have to go with Aegislash. Maybe weird because it's like a possessed sword, maybe not the fan favorite of maybe not the favorite of some, but I still think Aegislash is really cool with its line, Hone Edge into Blade. They wanted to bring along the type of the royalty, and with Kalos and how it goes with swords and knights and stuff, and the fact that it has two different forms of sword, or is it blade form and shield form, I think it's called. It's just really cool how that kind of concept works out. Gimmick form wise, the only Mega that was of a Gen 6 Pokemon is Diancie. So I'm just going to put Diancie. Like I said, I'm not going to add the Megas of all the other generations because they were considered for the other generations. As for my favorite Legendary, again, it's really hard because I really like this trio, but I'm just going to go with Zygarde because I like them out of the most, and it's just like similar vein to Rayquaza. It's like the balance between the two sides. And as for my favorite Pokemon, I'm going to go with Greninja. Greninja is one of my favorite Pokemon. I might even say my second favorite Pokemon potentially, just because it's like Frog Ninja. It just looks cool. All right, on to Generation 7 now. Generation 7, we're going to go with Stuffle on the normal type. When I first saw it revealed, I thought it was really cute. It's got the little tag appendage on its backside, which is a really neat little touch considering it looks like a little stuffed animal. And yeah, can't get much cuter than Stuffle. Favorite fire type, I am going to go with Alola Marowak. Definitely my top 2 favorite Alolan forms. This is the first generation where they brought in regional forms, and Marowak, they hit it out of the park with that one. It makes total sense for Alola and its origin. Favorite water type, there's some pretty good ones here. I like a lot of them, but I'm gonna have to give the edge to Wishy Washy and its school form. I think it's a really neat, I guess gimmick, you could say, neat, unique ability it has of its schooling that helps kind of give schooling fish. Otherwise, this should be like a general fish, but if you bring it like schooling fish, and it comes into like one big thing, kind of like you see in Finding Nemo. I wonder if they got where they got the idea from, but I mean, schooling fish are in real life, and they can kind of form big groups that are very created to seem threatening to any predators and drive them away, and also try to survive better. But favorite grass type, I'm gonna go with Decidueye here. I say my Decidueye. That's because it's my favorite starter too, by far a favorite starter out of all of the starters of every generation, and out of Alola for sure. Owls are really cool Pokemon, especially how they are designed, and I think the whole line is super cool. And just like a freaking archer with the hood on, some like the feathery hood on with like the feathery arrows. It's just super cool. Can't get much cooler than the Decidueye. It's the coolest. Electric type wise, I'm gonna go with Alolan Raichu. I think they did a good job with the Alolan form of it. Really harkens back to the Surfing Pikachu. Interesting how they gave it a Psychic type, but I guess they had to make it Surfing Levitating somehow, so you got to give it Psychic type. Kind of funny that it eats like too many pancakes, which is really funny. But yeah, the color scheme is really nice. It looks like it got a tan in Alola, so I think that kind of fits too. Favorite ice type, I'm gonna go with Alola Ninetales. Very majestic, very pretty, and a good Alolan form to match with Cantonian Ninetales. Favorite fighting type, I'm gonna go with Marshadow. And this is actually gonna be my favorite legendary of the generation. You might find that surprising, but as you can maybe kind of get a theming of my kind of yearn for, or my affinity for ghost types. The design of it is just like, it's just like all black, but it's got the red eyes, and then it has a special like coloration form. I think it's part of its signature move, Spectral Thief, and it's also its a signature Z move. But just more Shadow is just a really cool Pokemon that lives in your shadow. And yeah, I mean, shadow-based Pokemon is just really cool. I think they did a good job with it. Favorite poison type. Interesting poison types here. I would go with another one, but I think that's my favorite dark type, which I already spoiled, but it's going to be Alolan Muk. I think this is probably my favorite Alolan form, just when I first saw it. It is a really big step up over Cantonian Muk. And it's how it's designed, and its origin, kind of where it gets its colors from, is really cool. And its shiny is not too bad either. But as for my favorite poison type, I'm gonna go with Salandit. I liked it when I first saw it revealed. This is the first like new generation I was a part of, because I joined midway through Generation 6 Pokemon. So this is like my first generation that I kind of got to experience the first beginnings of, the first release of, and getting the full experiences, which really makes Sun and Moon my favorite Pokemon games. My favorite Pokemon generation, Generation 7. So I have a nice some sentimental value for a lot of these Pokemon, including Salandit, which I first saw, revealed in the trailers, I think, and I think it's a really cool Pokemon. Ground type, if you've been around this channel a long time, it has to be Mudsdale. Although, there's some really cool ground types here. I'll give a special shout out to Alolan Dugtrio line, which I thought was a really neat concept, and as well as the Sandcastle, Palisand. I got it with Mudsdale. It's probably the best horse Pokemon out there, in my opinion. And it is it still kind of is a mascot of my channel. But really back then, when I first started doing content creation, it became the mascot of my channel just to kind of fit the Texas theme. And I think it did a good job of it, and I really have a lot of affection for Mudsdale as a Pokemon. So that's the reason why. Favorite flying type. I'm going to go with Oricorio. I really like the, and I think the ballet style is my favorite of them. But the fact that it changes around the islands based on the nectar it eats makes a lot of sense. How it changes typing, though, is really crazy. But I do like that it, and the fact that it's based on like dance styles is really kind of an interesting concept. I would do Rowlet. Rowlet is pretty good, but I kind of lumped that in with Decidueye in that whole line. So I kind of like Rowlet, Decidueye, kind of like the similar at a similar kind of level, just so you know. That kind of goes for like the other starters as well. Favorite psychic type. And I'm gonna go with like I said, I like the legendary trio from Generation 7 as well. I think Necrozma is the best psychic type. I think Lunala is the best ghost type, and I think Solgaleo is the best steel type. This is a really cool legendary trio. I really liked when I saw it, when they were revealed, of course. Again, sentimental value for this generation, my favorite generation. Having these legendaries and their origins, there's some really deep origins based on their design. And the fact that freaking Necrozma is like a prism type psychic thing monster, it's so cool. Bug type, you might have been wondering why I didn't pick Vikavolt for electric type. Well, that's why I'm picking it for favorite bug type. Vikavolt is so cool. Definitely my top 5 bug types, I would say. I think really cool how it evolved from Grubbin. I think it's the first one based on that one. I'm not sure what bug type, what kind of bug it is in real life, but how it's based on this certain bug with like the long pincer type things. It's really cool. Favorite rock type. Now, I was kind of torn with this one. Rockruff and Lycanroc line is really cool. It's a really good line. I will give that credit. I just feel like I kind of like Minior more. Solely for the fact that it's like a cool like meteorite type monster, and it has all these different colors, which really kind of makes it stand out. In a similar vein to Vivillon. And its shiny is super cool too. If I can get that up here. If you haven't seen it before, it's like black. Yeah, black with like like confetti on it, which is really interesting. But I just really like the colorfulness of all the Minior colors and all those together being part of the same Pokemon. So, favorite dragon type. There was a lot of dragon types added to this one, especially some of the added on some of the other legendaries and ultra beasts. But I'm gonna go with Jangmo-O. No, wait, it's not Jangmo-O. What's his name? Pomo-O. Sorry, Jangmo-O is the first one, but Some people didn't really like the design of this one, but I think they... I can see why if they kind of go overboard with the scales a little bit. But I really appreciate the design of that because it, you know, it's supposed to like jangle and make noise and all that with its scales, and it gives it a lot of armor, which is why it has like soundproof and bulletproof abilities. And then finally for the fairy type, I'm gonna go with Mimikyu. I really like Mimikyu. Possibly, yeah, I think it is my favorite fairy type. I think this was one of the best Pokemon of the generation. Not my favorite of all time of this generation. That has to go to Decidueye for sure. Decidueye is my first starter of a new generation that I started. So I really have a lot more sentimental value for Decidueye, but Mimikyu is probably going to be number 2, number 3, really close to like Mudsdale and Pokemon like that. So on to Generation 8. Generation 8, I kind of took a break from Pokemon and I did beat Shield, but I just kind of put it down after that because I didn't get to do the DLC at all, so I went on to other games. So I don't have too much connection with all these Pokemon, but I did like a lot of the designs still. The first one I'm going to start off with is, again, another kind of meme pick, you might say, but Wooloo. First saw it, kind of in a similar vein to Bidoof and Stuffle. I just like it. It's so cute, and it just rolls around, and its name is pretty funny. Favorite fire type? I'm going to go with Hisuian Typhlosion. I find that personally cooler than regular Typhlosion, or Jotonian Typhlosion, because it adds on the fire, it has on the ghost typing. The flames of like purple and orange, scarlet are really, really cool. Adds on a little bit more flair to the design, and it's got a really cool move. And it's not totally because I had it in my draft league, and really liked using it. So favorite water type, I actually kind of like Cramorant the most. It's just kind of silly looking. Again, it's just silly, but it's kind of cute in that same way. Really endearing. It's like a dodo bird, but it's kind of looks like a dodo bird, but I think it's based on an actual species that's around right now, specific bird species. And I like how it's really funny. It's a gimmick of like gulping stuff like a freaking Pikachu, whole Pikachu like I put right here. As for favorite grass type, I'm going to go again with another Hisuian starter, and that's going to be Hisuian Decidueye. Really like Decidueye, and I think they did a pretty cool job giving a similar theme with Decidueye, but also changing it up and kind of fitting the Hisui region a little bit more. And I'm going to go with another cute pick for electric type. I'm going to go with the Yamper. I first saw it revealed, and it's just the cutest little doggo you've ever seen in Pokemon. Next, I'm going to go with Frostmoth. Very majestic. Really cool bug ice type. I think that was the first one in Pokemon so far. Fighting type. I saw Surfetch'd revealed, and I thought this was super, super cool. Makes a lot of sense based on what's Galarian Farfetch'd is and what its original Farfetch'd form used to be. So I'm glad that they gave Farfetch'd some love. And favorite poison type is going to be Toxtricity. I think this is a really, really cool design. It's based on punk rockers, and the kind of like the spikes looks like the spiky electricity looks like a mohawk. It can strum like a lizard type creature on its chest. They make sounds. Its other form is really, really cool too. Gotta give a shout out to that one. But overall, Toxtricity really, really cool. Favorite ground type, Runerigus. I think I like that more than Cofagrigus. It's like a possessed rune. Favorite flying type, really playing more off the dark theme now. Look at this bird, Galarian Moltres. They took the normal, or like the Cantonian Moltres, and they turned it up to an 11. Freaking scarlet flames with the black feathers, and like a really vicious demeanor that this bird has. Like it fits dark flying so well. They get almost really comparable to Yveltal in that way. But the fact that it has the scarlet flames and the color scheme with that, plus the black feathers, it's just too hard to pass up and not appreciate. Favorite psychic type, I'm gonna go with Orbeetle. Not much else to say other than it's the best ladybug Pokemon. As for bug type, I'm already revealing it here, but I'm gonna go with, I really appreciate the design of Centiskorch, and I think they really did a good job. It's also my favorite of the Gigantamax forms. Favorite rock type's gonna go to Dreadnought. They did a good job, which is like this awesome like turtle looking Pokemon. It looks like a machine type of thing based on its like mouth, and it like chomps like a snapping turtle. Favorite ghost type, I will give a honorable mention to Poltegeist and Sinistea. I really like that line. But I gotta go with the coolest ghost type that probably one of the coolest ghost types I've ever seen is Hisuian Zoroark, and it's also my favorite of the generation, even though it is a Galarian Pokemon. When I first saw it, I was like, wow, this is a Pokemon. Wow. Like red on white with some of the gray, and it just takes just similar to Galarian Moltres, takes Zoroark's design just up to a 20, from a 10 to a 20. It just doubles it and makes it even like, double cool. Favorite dragon type? Obviously, can't leave out Dragapult. I didn't say Dragapult for Ghost for a reason, because it is my favorite dragon type. Really interesting design based on like catapult and launching fighter jets, and really strong in battle overall. Can't deny its prowess there. Favorite dark type? I'm gonna finish out the trio of Galarian starters and pick Hisuian Samurott. Again, like it for similar reasons as to Unnovan Samurott. Has similar design, of course, but has the black and red color scheme, which I really like a lot, as you can probably tell based on my affinity for Veltal and Galarian Moltres. Favorite steel type? Gotta go with Corviknight. Really like the kind of night. I like the night theme of its whole line, and I like the red eye is really creepy, but also makes it look really well respected Pokemon. And for fairy type, I like Impidimp the most. I really like this design. Its whole line is really cool, but Impidimp is just a little cute little imp Pokemon, and did a good job with designing that one. My favorite starter of the Galar starters is going to be the Rillaboom line. Groupie Gang all the way. Not really a big fan of the other ones. And for my favorite legendary of the whole generation, I have to go with Galarian Moltres, 100%. Now let's finish this up with Generation 9 and get to our final favorites for the rest of the types. So I gotta go with Lechonk again, another meme pick for normal type. Obviously it's very cute, very round, and it's Lechonk. It's also a Twitch global emote, so not many Pokemon can say that. Ceruledge, best looking fire type. One of the best ones I've ever seen, probably in my top 5. Favorite water type, I'm gonna go with Quaxly, my favorite starter, which I'll go ahead and put over here. My favorite starter is gonna be the Quaxly Quaquaval line. Favorite grass type, I'm going to go with Arboliva, mostly for sentimental reasons. It was on my, I added it to my in-game team, and it did a lot. It took a lot of hits. The Seed Sower ability was really came in handy. And I really appreciate its design being like an olive branch type of thing, and really kind of makes me think of the Greek Olympics. Favorite electric type, though I'll give an honorable mention to the Temple Bellybolt line. I'm going to go with Pommy. Really cute Pika clone. I think probably one of my favorites, if not my favorite so far. I think it's up there. It's really cute. Really cute little mouse. I think it's a mouse. Some little rodent. Saw the Titan revealed for this game, and saw, I mean, freaking ice land whale Pokemon, kind of similar in a vein to land shark Garchomp. Can't go wrong with it with said Titan. Favorite fighting type? Annihilate. Hands down. Big improvement over Primate. Well-deserved evolution. And just looks so freaking cool. And plus it has a ghost type on top of it, so it has to be cool. Grafaiai, favorite poison type. I think it's well-designed. I like the name a lot. Clodsire, favorite ground type of the generation. Can't go wrong with my boy Clodsire. I just like S3 face. Similar reasons to why I like Wooper. And as for flying type, I'm going to go with Squawkabilly. I think similar reasons to Vivillon and to Oricorio. I like how it just does like comes in different colors, and they have different like rivalries and gangs. It kind of goes with its design a bit. So Girafarig, another well-deserved evolution. Oh, sorry, Girafarig. Farigiraf. Another well-deserved evolution for Girafarig. For an older mon. And they outdid themselves, kind of inverting the name and inverting the tail. Makes a lot of sense for what Girafarig was. Favorite bug type? Low kicks. Yeah, I came across a shiny of this in Scarlet and Violet recently. Just off the cuff. Full odds. No hunting or anything. No sandwiches. And low kicks is just so cool. Such a cool grasshopper looking Pokemon. And favorite rock type? Cloth. Just for the meme. Favorite ghost type? I already picked Annihilate, so I'm going to go with Houndstone. I think it's really creepy Pokemon, but also well designed. Favorite dragon is going to be Roaring Moon. Definitely my favorite of the Paradox Pokemon, and very similar reasons as to why I like it. Why my favorite legendary is Horidon. Favorite dark type is going to be Qianpao. My favorite of the Ruinous Quartet, dark ice type, and looks like a wildcat Pokemon panther thing with like really cool fangs as like a broken sword. Like, it's really, really cool. Favorite steel type is going to be King Gambit, another well-deserved evolution for a prior Pokemon. They did this so well. Fits the theme, obviously. I think it had to, otherwise it wouldn't make any sense. And the design of it is just so good. Another like samurai-looking Pokemon. It's chef's kiss. And another one of my favorite Paradox Mons is going to go here. Iron Valiant, favorite fairy type in the generation. Like I said, I really liked. It looks a lot like Mega Gallade and Gallade, and it's mixed with Gardevoir, which is a Pokemon I like as well. Yeah, it mixed between the two. I mean, how can that not be one of my favorites? Favorite Pokemon of the generation so far, even though it's still ongoing, it's going to be King Gambit. I think this was the best added evolution they added. It fits Bisharp and Poniard so well, and its design is just awesome. I'm going to quickly go through my favorites of each type. I've already kind of go over why I like each Pokemon. Favorite normal type is going to be Braviary. Favorite fire type is going to be Ho-Oh. Favorite water type is going to be Greninja. Favorite grass type is going to be Decidueye. Favorite electric type is going to be Rotom. My favorite ice type is going to be Frostlass. Favorite fighting type is going to be Annihilate. Again, so cool. Favorite poison type is going to be Toxtricity. Favorite ground type is going to be Mudsdale. Sorry, Clodsire. Favorite flying type is going to be Galarian Moltres. Favorite psychic type is going to be Mewtwo. Favorite bug type is going to be Centiskorch. And really cool bug type. Favorite rock type is going to be Aggron. Favorite ghost type, which is, as I talked about how really cool ghost types are in this whole video. Can't get anything better than Hisuian Zoroark at the moment. So cool. So cool. Favorite dragon, Rayquaza. Favorite dark type has to be Darkrai. Just the epitome of dark types. So you can't get better. I don't think you can get better dark type in this. They really outdid themselves with that one. Favorite steel type is going to be King Gambit. Favorite fairy type is going to be Mimikyu. And my favorite starter is going to be Decidueye. Favorite gimmick form is going to be, out of the ones that I've chosen, it's going to be Mega Gallade. And my favorite legendary out of all these is going to be Ho-Oh. Again, it's a Phoenix. Although I think Arceus is pretty close to it. Rayquaza and Zygarde really in my top, fill out my top 5 and stuff. Oh, Ho-Oh is going to be the top. Now you probably see a lot of Decidueye on this chart here. Obviously because it's a starter, but it's also favorite of Generation 7. And I think many people have maybe noticed already. My favorite Pokemon of all time right now is Decidueye. Super cool. First starter of a new generation. A lot of sentimental value towards it. Or nostalgia, I guess you could say maybe now, because it's been a while since Sun and Moon. And it's a really cool owl. Definitely something better than Hoot Hoot and Noctowl. No offense, but yeah, that pretty much completes it. And so be sure to leave a like or dislike and a comment down below about the video. If you want to see more Pokemon content from me, click subscribe and check out my playlist that I will link below, also in the top right, and also the end of the video of my Pokemon Draft League battles. But I hope to be doing some other Pokemon content as well in the future. Thanks for watching, and take care, everyone.